many people do you know who work hard, really hard, but seem to make little progress year after year? Maybe you see someone put in the hours, they hustle, they grind. But if you look closely, you realize they're spinning their wheels. Effort isn't their problem. Energy isn't the issue. The real trouble is structure, alignment. Nothing works until everything aligns. Think about building a house. You start with a blueprint. That blueprint doesn't just tell you what the house will look like. It decides where every wall will stand, how every room will fit together, even how the sunlight will come through in the morning. If a builder skips the blueprint and just starts nailing boards together, you don't get a house. You get a pile of lumber. And that's how some people try to build their lives. They have ambition, maybe even raw talent, but they lack the blueprint. They don't have a vision to guide them. They don't have clear goals to measure their progress. They don't put their intentions on a schedule. So every day feels urgent, but not important. Every week is busy, but not productive. Alignment gives power to purpose. Vision shows you where. It's the picture of the life you want to live, not just the job you want to do. Goals define what? They turn vision into targets. Give your dreams a destination. The schedule determines when. This is the arena where dreams become appointments and priorities show up on the clock. You see, most people don't fail because they lack effort. They fail because they lack structure. They try to pour water into a leaky bucket. No matter how much they pour, it never fills. The leaks are misalignment. The lack of connection between what they want, what they're doing, and how they spend their time. Have you ever wondered why some people with half the talent, half the resources somehow pass by the rest of the crowd? They learn to line things up. Their vision, their goals, their schedule, they're all on the same page. Like gears in a machine. When everything turns together, even a little engine can drive a big result. I remember a time early in my business life when I was all activity, no direction. Running from one thing to another, chasing opportunity, hoping effort would be enough, but it wasn't. I didn't need to work harder. I needed to work aligned. Once the vision was clear, once the goals were sharp, once the schedule got organized, everything changed. The results started showing up, not because I did more, but because I did the right things at the right time for the right reasons. Think about a river. Water is powerful, but only when it's moving in one direction. You try to make progress in life with scattered energy. You'll make a puddle, not a stream. Get things aligned, vision, goals, schedule, and you harness that power. Suddenly, you're not just busy, you're effective. So ask yourself, where am I going? What do I want? And when will I do it? Because the blueprint of a life worth living starts with those three lines: vision, goals, schedule. Nothing works until everything aligns. Let's talk about vision, the picture you paint for your life. Not just the tasks on your to-do list or the job you show up for, but the kind of life you see when you close your eyes and dream. Vision is seeing beyond the immediate. It's what lifts you out of routine and into imagination. Now, vision isn't fantasy. It's not daydreaming for the sake of escape. Vision is the serious business of building your future in your mind before you ever build it in reality. It's not just about what's in your bank account or how many square feet your house might have. Vision answers the bigger questions. Who do you want to become? What do you want your days to feel like? What will your contribution be? That's what gives your effort direction. Most people get trapped by the urgent. They wake up, rush through the day, handle what's in front of them, then collapse at night, wondering why nothing really changed. The immediate takes over. But a person with vision sees beyond the pile of dishes and the stack of papers. A person with vision looks past the next paycheck and the next bill. The horizon stretches out farther. Vision lets you travel in your mind to places you haven't yet been with your body. It's what pulls you forward when times get tough. Without vision, effort scatters, like throwing seeds on concrete and hoping for a harvest. With vision, every step you take has direction. Every action connects to a bigger picture. I remember sitting quietly asking myself, not just what am I doing, but where am I heading? Not just what do I want to have, but who do I want to become? That's the real work. The moment you start seeing yourself beyond the circumstances, beyond the job title, beyond the setbacks, everything changes. You're no longer just surviving, you're designing. It's easy to get stuck asking, what should I do today? But the better question is, what kind of person am I building? And what kind of life will that person live? When you answer that, your actions gain meaning. Your sacrifices feel worthwhile. Even the little things start to matter because you see how they fit into the whole. Vision is not reserved for the lucky few. Anybody can have one, but you have to choose it. You have to spend time thinking, imagining, building that picture on the inside. Don't let your circumstances dictate your vision. Let your vision reshape your circumstances. If you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. Vision sets the target. It gives you the reason to get up early, to stay late, to do the uncomfortable. It's the difference between a wandering generality and a meaningful specific. And here's the beauty. When you carry a vision inside, it starts to show up on the outside. Your words change, your posture changes, your habits shift. People notice. You attract opportunities you never saw before because now you're walking in a direction. So how can we make this practical? How can we make this work in our own life? Tonight, if you haven't already, carve out a little time for yourself. Quiet the noise. Ask yourself, what do I really want my life to look like 5, 10, 20 years from now? Not just the things, but the feelings, the relationships, the contribution, the growth. Write it down. Let it be big enough to excite you and specific enough to guide you. Vision is seeing beyond the immediate. It's the fuel for your goals and the foundation for your schedule. Without it, you're lost in activity. With it, every step has purpose. And here's the next step. You've built that vision in your mind. You see it, you feel it, maybe for the first time in a long time. But here's where most dreams start to drift. They stay dreams. Inspiration is a wonderful thing, but inspiration without structure is like a car without a road. It'll rev the engine, but it won't get you anywhere. A goal is a dream with structure. It's what takes your vision out of the clouds and puts it right there on the ground where you can reach it. You see, vision inspires, but goals translate that vision into measurable targets. Goals answer the question, how will I know when I'm on the right path? How will I know when I've arrived? Too many people fall in love with the idea of someday I'll travel. Someday I'll be fit. Someday I'll have more time for my family. But you know what happens to someday? It fades into the background. The calendar never says someday. The only way to bring your vision to life is to give it a timeline and a target. I remember sitting at my desk, full of dreams, but overwhelmed by the gap between where I was and where I wanted to be. The turning point was the day I put a date on the dream. The moment I wrote down what I wanted, when I wanted it, and what steps I could take. It stopped being wishful thinking. It became a goal. That changed everything. Goals turn I hope into I will. They turn maybe into by this date. This is where you stop drifting and start directing. You take the vast energy of your imagination and focus it on one clear point. The difference is night and day. When your mind knows where you're heading and when you want to arrive, your actions start to line up. You trade anxiety for action, confusion for clarity. Now, some people shy away from goals because they're afraid to fail. Let me tell you, failing at a goal is far better than succeeding at nothing. At least you know where you stand, you know what to adjust. You know what to aim for next. A vague dream never lets you know where you're missing the mark, because there's no mark to hit. A goal is also a form of self-respect. It's a way of saying to yourself, I matter. My life is worth designing. My future is worth the effort. And the moment you set a real goal, you'll notice something. You'll start to attract ideas, people, and opportunities that help you reach it. It's almost as if the world leans in your direction. You might start small. That's fine. Set a goal for the month, for the week, even for the day. The point isn't how big or small, it's how real. If you can measure it, you can achieve it. If you can put it on the calendar, you can make progress toward it. So tonight, take your vision and give it structure. Turn the someday into by this date. Translate imagination into instruction. Make your dreams obey the clock. There's power in a written goal, a date, a number, a promise to yourself. When you look back, you'll realize that's when things started to change. Not when you started dreaming, but when you started deciding. A goal is a dream with structure. It's the bridge between what could be and what will be. Now, how can we take those goals and make them real? Because specifics create substance. One of the great pitfalls is vague goals. You know the ones. I want to be happier. I want to make more money. I want to be healthier. Now, those are wonderful wishes, but you can't hit a target you can't see. Vague goals breed vague results. The more precise your aim, the greater your chances of hitting the bullseye. I learned early that clarity is the secret. Write it down. Attach a number. Attach a date. Attach a reason. Don't just say you want to be healthier. Say you want to weigh a certain number by a certain date because you want the energy to play with your kids or climb that mountain you've dreamed about. Don't just say you want to make more money. Write down the amount, circle the date, and remind yourself why it matters. There's something about putting it in writing that moves it from your head to your hands. It takes hope and turns it into strategy. The sharper the target, the stronger the pull. You wake up with purpose because you know exactly what you're reaching for. And you measure progress, not just activity. When you're clear on what you want and why you want it, you unlock your creativity. Ideas start showing up. You figure out new ways to solve old problems because now your mind is focused. You're no longer shooting in the dark. You're lining up the shot. Let me tell you, the world responds to clarity. When you're vague, you confuse not just yourself, but everyone around you. When you're clear, you attract people who want to help you because they can see exactly where you're going. The opportunities you need don't show up in the fog. They show up when the road is well marked. Take the time to be specific. Don't be afraid to narrow it down. It's not limiting, it's liberating. Now, you're not wandering through 100 doors. You're heading straight for the one that leads to your future. The sharper your focus, the stronger your results. I remember the first time I set a specific income goal. I wrote down the number, circled the date, and made a list of reasons. That goal wasn't just a wish anymore. It was a contract with myself. Every day I looked at that note. Every week I measured how far I'd come. And you know what? Progress came faster than I expected because I knew what I was working for. It's easy to underestimate the power of specifics, but the truth is, specifics create momentum. They keep you honest, they keep you motivated, and they keep you moving forward. So tonight, Take your list of goals and sharpen them. Make them so clear that you could hand them to a stranger and they'd know exactly what you're aiming for. Attach a number, attach a date, attach a reason. That's how you turn hope into strategy and vision into reality. Remember, vague goals breed vague results. Clarity is power. The sharper the target, the stronger the pull. Now let's talk about where dreams meet reality. The schedule. This is where the rubber meets the road. You've got your vision, you've set your goals, you've gotten specific. But here's the real test. What's on your calendar? Because your schedule reveals what you truly value. People sometimes say, my family is the most important thing in my life. And I ask, where do they show up on your schedule? I want to grow my business. Show me the hours dedicated to learning, to planning, to selling. If it's not on the calendar, it's not a priority. We deceive ourselves with good intentions, but the truth shows up in the way we spend our time. Your schedule is the bridge between intention and action. It's what converts goals into tasks, hours, habits. It's easy to wish, it's easy to want, but what matters is what you're willing to give your time to. Every successful person I've met has learned to put their dreams on the calendar. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by appointment. I remember my own turning point. I wrote down my goals, but my days were still slipping away, lost in distractions. Good intentions buried under the weight of the urgent. The breakthrough came when I started scheduling the most important activities first. If you want change, you have to reserve the time. You can't just hope it fits into the leftovers. Success lives in the daily routine, not just in the big decisions, but in the small habits, repeated over and over. You want a better body? It's not the gym membership. It's the scheduled hour you show up 3 times a week, every week. You want a stronger mind? It's not the stack of books. It's the time you carve out each day to read, to study, to think. You want more income? It's not just the big ideas. It's the consistent hours spent building, serving, selling. A schedule brings discipline. It protects your priorities from the invasion of the trivial. Without it, the urgent will always steal from the important. With it, you have a tool to remind you what matters most. Here's something to try. Look at your week in advance. Where do your highest priorities show up? If they don't, make space for them before everything else crowds in. Write it down, block it out, defend it fiercely. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but your schedule is how you stay on track. Don't underestimate the power of an ordinary day. When you put the right things on the calendar, the days add up. And soon you find yourself living the life you once only imagined. The small daily disciplines become the bricks that build the house of your future. If you really want to know what matters to you, don't just look at your list, look at your schedule. That's where your dreams become habits, and habits become results. And remember, if it's not on the calendar, it's not a priority. Success lives in the daily routine. The schedule is where dreams meet reality. Now, this is what Mr. Schoaf used to call the glue that holds it all together. Discipline. Vision inspires, goals direct, the schedule organizes, but it's discipline that keeps them all together day after day. Without discipline, alignment breaks. It's like a finely tuned instrument. You can have the best strings, the perfect notes, but without the discipline to practice, you never play the music. Discipline is the master key. It's not talent, not luck, not even inspiration. All those things help, but nothing replaces discipline. It's the willingness to do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline means showing up for your priorities, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it isn't. Here's the truth. Small, consistent acts will always outperform occasional bursts of enthusiasm. It's easy to get excited at the start. The vision is fresh. The goals look shiny. The schedule is neat. But then comes day 3 or week 2 or month 6. The excitement fades and life presses in. That's when discipline steps in to carry you. I can't tell you how many mornings I woke up and the last thing I wanted was to keep my commitments. But I'd learned, if you let moods make your decisions, your life will always be a mystery. If you let principles make your decisions, your life becomes a masterpiece. Discipline is the bridge between wishing and having, between intention and achievement. It's not about being harsh or rigid. It's about being loyal to your own best interests. The greatest act of self-respect is honoring your schedule, keeping your promises to yourself. You see, discipline is what turns hope into progress. Without it, the vision withers, the goals gather dust, the schedule becomes a collection of forgotten appointments. I remember teaching a young man about consistency. He asked, "How do I stay motivated?" The answer wasn't a secret formula. It was this: let discipline drive you when motivation is missing. Let habits support you when energy is low. Motivation is a great starter, but discipline is the long-distance runner. If you want to create change, don't just look for big moments. Look for the small daily choices. The decision to get up when you said you would, to read the page you set out to read, to make the call you planned to make. Those little acts of discipline stacked one upon another create the results others admire. And here's the reward. With every disciplined act, you gain strength. Your self-respect grows. The alignment gets tighter. You become the person your vision requires, the one your goals demand, the one your schedule deserves. So tonight, ask yourself, where do I need more discipline? Not as punishment, but as the gift you give your future self. Small, consistent acts, that's the secret. Let discipline be the glue that keeps your vision, your goals, and your schedule moving in harmony. Without discipline, alignment breaks. With it, you build a life that works. Now let's talk about the art of adjustment, because the plan may change, but the purpose should not. Life has a way of surprising us. The weather shifts, markets move, people come and go. But if your vision, goals, and schedule are too rigid, you risk snapping under the first strong wind. Alignment isn't about stubbornness. It's about staying true to your purpose, even as you adapt your plan. I've met people who treat their plans like sacred scripts, never to be altered no matter what happens. They confuse discipline with inflexibility, but real growth demands flexibility. A tree survives the storm, not because it stands stiff, but because it bends without breaking. It adjusts, but it doesn't abandon its roots. Here's a lesson I learned the hard way. Life will ask you to recalibrate. Maybe you set a goal for the year, and halfway through, circumstances change. The market dips, your health shifts, or you realize you want something different than when you started. That's not failure. That's wisdom in action. The wise person reviews, adjusts, and keeps moving toward the purpose. Adjustment is not the same as surrender. Surrender is giving up on your purpose. Adjustment is finding a new way forward. When your schedule isn't working, don't toss out the whole vision. Review it, look for the leaks, patch them up, and try again. If your goals stop exciting you, don't abandon growth. Ask why, and set new targets that rekindle your passion. One of the best habits you can build is a weekly review. Take a quiet hour at the end of the week. Open up your schedule, look at your goals, and ask yourself a few honest questions. Am I still on course? Is this schedule working? Are these goals still worthy of my effort? If something's off, don't wait for a crisis to make a change. Adjust early, adjust often. I remember a season when nothing seemed to go right. My calendar was full, my energy was drained, and progress was stalling. It would have been easy to blame circumstances, to throw in the towel, but instead, I paused, stepped back, and asked, what needs to change here? Sometimes it was a small tweak, moving a meeting, adjusting a deadline, shifting a priority. Sometimes it meant setting a brand new goal. The key was never to let setbacks become permanent. The plan changed, but the purpose stayed. Real alignment means regular recalibration. It means you check your bearings and correct your course. You don't abandon the journey because the road got rough. You find a better route. You become both the architect and the builder, redesigning as you build. So let's remember, flexibility is not weakness. It's the sign of maturity. Life demands it. If you're willing to adjust without abandoning, you'll weather the storms and still reach your destination. Review and adjust your schedule weekly to stay on course. Protect the purpose, even as the plan evolves. The plan may change, the purpose should not. That's the discipline of adjustment. Now, what happens when everything lines up? When vision, goals, and schedule are all in harmony? Something powerful emerges, the rhythm of achievement. Instead of life feeling like a struggle, it starts to flow. Effort stops feeling forced. You wake up with a sense of direction. You work with clarity. And at the end of the day, you rest with real satisfaction. It's a wonderful thing to find your rhythm. When you're out of sync, every step feels heavy, every task a burden. But get things aligned, and the day has a beat, a momentum of its own. You look up, and the week has gone by, not in a blur of busyness, but in a stream of real progress. There was a time in my life when each day felt like pushing a boulder uphill. I was working, but the effort wasn't adding up. Something was always missing. Then came alignment. Vision gave me a destination. Goals gave me the path. And the schedule gave me the pace. The rhythm started to appear, not because life got easier, but because it got clearer. Achievement isn't just about reaching a goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who can reach that goal again and again. When vision, goals, and schedule move together, you build habits that make success automatic. You stop having to force motivation. The right actions become part of your daily routine, like the tick of a clock or the swing of a pendulum. You wake with purpose. You don't have to scramble for direction. Your schedule guides you. You work with clarity because each action ties back to a goal. You see your progress. Even setbacks become smaller because you know they're part of the rhythm. They don't stop the music. They just teach you a new note. At night, you rest with satisfaction. There's a peace that comes from knowing you invested your day in what mattered. Not everything gets done, but the right things do. That's the difference alignment makes. You go to bed not just tired, but fulfilled. It's not about perfection. Some days the beat will be off, the schedule will need fixing, the goals might need refining. That's all right. Rhythm isn't about being flawless. It's about coming back to the groove. It's about not letting one bad day become a bad week, or one missed goal become a lost year. Over time, that rhythm creates momentum. Small victories pile up. Confidence grows. And before you know it, you've built not just results, but a lifestyle. Success stops being an occasional event and becomes a steady companion. So if you've ever felt that life is one long list of tasks, see if your vision, your goals, and your schedule are truly aligned. Find the rhythm. Once you do, success isn't a surprise anymore. It's a habit. When vision, goals, and schedule align, effort feels rhythmic, not forced. That's when you wake with purpose, work with clarity, and rest with satisfaction. That's the rhythm of achievement. Here's what most people skip: the regular review and realignment. It's easy to set a goal, easy to fill the calendar. But if you never stop to measure, you start drifting. Even a well-built ship, left to its own devices, can wander off course if no one checks the compass. The same goes for your life. Review and realign. You have to pause and ask the tough questions. Does my schedule still serve my vision? Do my goals still excite me? Am I making real progress or just moving in circles? This is the moment of honesty that separates those who drift from those who arrive. I used to think that once you set a goal, you just worked until you hit it. But life isn't that tidy. The world changes, circumstances shift, and sometimes you discover that what you wanted a year ago isn't what matters most today. That's not failure. That's wisdom growing. The real danger isn't changing your course. It's refusing to notice when you've drifted. I remember a period when I was working hard, checking every box, keeping the calendar full. But something felt off. I wasn't excited in the morning. My days started to feel routine, not rewarding. That's when I knew I needed to stop and ask, is my schedule still taking me where I want to go? Do my goals still light a fire inside me? If the answer was no, it was time to adjust. Don't be afraid to make changes. Goals are not set in stone. They're tools, not chains. The real point is growth. Growth is continuous, not a one-time event. And growth only happens when you're willing to review and realign. Set aside time each month, each quarter, whatever works for you, and take inventory. Pull out your vision, your goals, your schedule. Measure your results. Ask yourself, where am I making progress? Where am I stuck? Where am I fooling myself? Sometimes the smallest adjustment can get you back on track. Other times you might realize it's time to dream bigger, to set a new course entirely. The secret is to make this review a habit, not a chore. The more often you check in, the less likely you are to drift far. Realignment keeps your growth continuous and prevents drift. It's like tuning an instrument. You do it again and again to keep making good music. People often ask, how do I stay motivated year after year? The answer is simple. Stay connected to your vision. Keep your goals fresh and let your schedule reflect your real priorities. Review, realign, and keep moving forward. Success is a moving target. Your alignment is what keeps you in the game. And you cannot forget to stop and measure. Does my schedule still serve my vision? Do my goals still excite me? That's how you keep growing, how you prevent drift, and how you build a life that works. So, living in alignment, this is where life starts to radiate with peace and progress. You know, it's not just about having a long list of goals or filling your calendar or dreaming big dreams. It's about weaving those three elements, vision, goals, and schedule, into the fabric of your daily life so they move together like a well-rehearsed orchestra. When you live in alignment, you stop chasing after success and start attracting it. There's a steadiness that comes, a confidence that settles in. You wake up knowing your life has meaning because your vision is clear. You move through the day with focus because your goals are sharp, and you build momentum because your schedule puts action behind your intentions. People sometimes ask, what does it look like when a life is truly aligned? It's not always flashy. It's the quiet peace you feel, knowing you're on your path. It's the steady progress, maybe slow at times, maybe fast at others, but always moving in the right direction. You don't waste energy on regrets because you're busy building the future. You don't envy the lives of others because you're fully invested in your own. You see, when all three move together, success stops being accidental and starts being inevitable. You build a reputation, not just with others, but with yourself. You trust your own word because you keep your promises. You become the kind of person people can rely on, the kind of person who lifts others up just by living with intention. I remember meeting people from all walks of life, some with much, some with little. But the happiest, the most fulfilled, always had alignment. They weren't scattered. They weren't always searching. They knew where they were going, what they were doing, and why it mattered. Their lives radiated both peace and progress. This doesn't mean you won't face setbacks or challenges. Alignment doesn't remove the storms, but it gives you an anchor. When you know your vision, you endure setbacks with purpose. When your goals are clear, you rebound from failure with lessons. When your schedule is disciplined, you make the most of the hours you have, no matter how many or how few. Tonight, I challenge you. Don't just settle for busy. Don't settle for a life that looks good on the outside but feels empty on the inside. Build your life from the inside out. Let your vision set the course. Let your goals mark the milestones. Let your schedule fill the days with meaningful action. And remember, living in alignment isn't a destination. It's a habit. It's a rhythm you create and recreate every day. It's checking in with yourself, making small corrections, celebrating each bit of progress. Over time, this habit compounds. The days become weeks, the weeks become years, and before you know it, you've built a life that matters, a life of peace, progress, and purpose. Vision gives meaning, goals give focus, schedule gives momentum. When all three move together, success becomes your natural state, not by accident, but by alignment.